Hayli spent 15 years mastering patient care, but when she decided to launch her own coaching business to help burnt out nurses, she hit a wall of foreign language. Hayli's solution was to escape the hospital for freedom. Now, she needed a solution to help her escape the crippling stress of business formation. Hayli's initial success in aesthetic medicine sparked a new passion: to help other nurses find their own flexibility and autonomy. And that's how the RN Coach Hayli was born. The financial stress was compounded by the overwhelming legal requirements. Hayli quickly realized that her passion was not taxes, registration, or complicated legal entities. She needed help, and so she Googled, and that's when she found doula. After reading some reviews, she realized that doula was exactly what her business needed to succeed. At Doula, our promise is to focus on the more technical things while you can focus on growing and scaling your business. The convenience, quality, and affordability of doula allowed Hayli to stop worrying so much about paperwork. She could finally dedicate her energy to her passion: mentoring nurses and building her community. With doula handling the hard stuff, the RN Coach Hayli is set to redefine the future for countless burnt out nurses. Take this as a sign to turn your passion into a business and get started with doula today.
Doula is a godsend, because you just put in the good old Google chat, who could help me with all the legal business registration entity stuff that I have no knowledge, right? Like, I didn't go to school for business. I didn't go to school for finances. I didn't go to school for taxes. And so when it popped up and I started reading reviews, I was like, oh my gosh, this is literally like your guys' slogan, like business in a box. And I was like, praise the Lord, because I want to do things correctly, right? Like, I don't want to be in trouble with Uncle Sam. I want to do my part and do everything correctly, but it's not my area of expertise. I don't know how to do that. And so I knew when I found doula and I saw all the really good reviews, I was like, okay, I'm going to just start with a phone call. I'm not going to get my hopes up. I'm going to start with a phone call and meet someone over the phone or over Zoom and see what doula can really provide for me. And that like lifted so much off my shoulders, because I was like, I don't know how to do all these things. Like, Google can give me steps of how to register my business, how to do my taxes, what I should be listed under, all of those things. But even though it gave me a step-by-step guide, I didn't know what that meant. I was like, okay, this is still foreign language. And so when doula was like, we got you, we're the pros, we know how to do this, we'll focus on the technical legal things, and you focus on growing your business. And so doula was like, it was a no-brainer. I'm like, this is amazing. This is a no-brainer. This is amazing. This is going to take that extremely stressful, hard part of business off my plate. So it's like having that assistant that you didn't know you needed until you really needed, and then you have, and then they do all of that for you. So doula has really helped me not have to worry about that. So I'm truly just now focusing on the marketing and the ads and the exposure and truly growing my passion. You know, unfortunately, my passion is not taxes and registration. I'm going to let the professionals do all of it, and that's going to be that. So no, since the very first moment before I even formed anything, the only thing I had formed was what I wanted my business name to be. That was it. And then I was like, all right, doula, you take over the rest. What do you need from me? And so since, the doula did everything for me, and it was so easy. And then I was getting, okay, we have this part done. Like, the email updates was so helpful to get the updates, to get everything I needed that way. It was just easy and convenient. And I was surprised at how affordable it is. In the world of business and all things, everything is very expensive. It's an investment. And so to see the affordability and the quality of doula, I was like, this is amazing. A little bit of a backstory is I'm a registered nurse, and I've worked in hospital and clinics since 2009. So a long time, right? Over 15 years. And during the pandemic, I think all nurses, all healthcare workers from all levels really struggled. It was hard. The pandemic in healthcare was hard. And at that point was where I was like, I need to completely transition. I had already halfway transitioned into outpatient and ambulatory care. But I knew I needed to transition even more. I was like, I have worked too hard. I have sacrificed too much to be this depressed and anxious every single day and be treated poorly by patients and their families. That first year and a half, you as a nurse, you extend a lot of grace through the pandemic because families are going through a lot. They were scared. But I mean, a couple years in, the abuse was too much. So I successfully transitioned out of inpatient care at the hospital into leadership and outpatient, then managing clinics, managing COVID tents, so on and so forth. And then I started in aesthetic medicine, so like aesthetic dermatology, cosmetic dermatology, Botox filler, stuff like that, in 2018. So I was working full-time at the hospital and part-time in aesthetics since 2018. And then in 2022, I took the full leap of faith, a huge leap of faith, to completely leave hospital settings and just be in outpatient care, in aesthetics, advanced aesthetics, stuff like that. And I did it. It's an industry that is very hard to get into. It's an industry that is really, really competitive and not very friendly, known to not be very friendly. And I transitioned and I excelled. I did really, really well, continued to do really well in aesthetics and in that career. And I started getting more and more messages from other nurses like, how did you do it? Like, I've tried, it's nearly impossible. It's like, it's just the hardest field to get into. And I started just helping other nurses. I'm like, oh, I can tell you what I did. Let me help you. Let me bring you up with me. Like, there's enough pie for everyone to eat at the table. Let's do this and let's do it well. So I helped a lot of nurses start their transition to the point where I started helping train other nurses in aesthetics. And I found that I really, really, really loved teaching other nurses. I really loved helping other nurses find the freedom and flexibility, their schedules, autonomy. I really, really loved it. And I was really good at it. And then so fast forward, post aesthetics, I started getting questions like, well, how do you run a successful med spa? How do you get more clientele? How do you, all these other questions that were outside of just the aesthetic part, but more of like the business side of things, since I was working in a really successful clinic and helping it run extremely well. And so that's when I had the idea of, why do I not just start my own complete coaching program? Like, I'm really good at helping people, but if I could do it my way without limitations, I could help more people in even better ways. So then that's how the RN Coach Hayli seed was planted. And that's what I've been working really hard to build. And bootstrapping everything is very expensive. It's very expensive to start your own business. I have learned, even when you think like, oh, I'm not going to have inventory, I'm not going to have all this overhead, there's still so much that goes into it, right? And so the challenges were financially being able to afford all of the kind of back end things that people don't see, and to be able to afford to cut my hours down from my full-time aesthetic job to be able to do my coaching, right? I can't do aesthetics 5 full days a week and then do my coaching on the side. I wanted to really make sure that I could invest into coaching, because if people are going to invest in my coaching, I wanted to ensure I could be a really quality, dedicated coach for them. So I knew I needed to cut my hours down. So that's what I did. I took a pay cut, of course, working less, still making it work really well, but nonetheless taking a pay cut. And so that has been hard, taking a pay cut and then putting money into my RN Coach program. Marketing and ads is where it's at, is what I've learned. And marketing and ads is not cheap.
No,
it is expensive. It's very expensive to have quality ads and marketing. And that's kind of where I've been struggling, is having the funds for that. Mm-hmm. And so having help with that would be huge to get the exposure, because I know what I have, what I've learned, and the skills and my passion for helping others, especially other nurses that have been extremely burnt out at the bedside. I know I can help them even more and help them find the freedom that I have found and the really good work-life balance. So I'm a mom of 4. I have 4 beautiful sons and an incredible husband. And so I knew I also needed to cut down the hours so I could ensure I could invest my time into the coaching business, but also make sure that I'm still spending quality and quantity time with my family. I always have, I don't know if it's good advice, but I do have advice that I always tell people is never let emotions dictate your actions. Like, that is my biggest thing. Like, it's so scary starting a business. It's so scary taking a leap of faith and following your dreams, but emotions are fleeting. Actions make things attainable. So I'm so big on like, believe in yourself, bet on yourself, and freaking go for it. Like, why not? Like, what's the worst that can happen? You get a no here and there, you have a hiccup here and there. Like, so I'm big on like, make an action plan, make a goal, create an action plan, and do steps every single day towards your goals. And if you don't do things off emotion, but off, logic, like you can be so successful in life. And I think so many people forget that because we get so anxious or nervous or fearful. But if you really have faith over fear and remember actions are what make the dreams happen, like you are unstoppable, and like go for it.